All right, folks, week 9 is almost in the books, and what a day of football it was, and what a weekend of sports it was. Two great World Series games this weekend, two of the best I've seen in a long time, and what a day of football it was. It felt like every game came down to the wire, down to the last few plays, and if you look at that early window, we had two game-winning field goals as time ran out, and in the late window today, the Raiders go for two in overtime and the win. They don't get it, and the Jags win. Just close games all over the place, and it was a lot of fun to watch. So much to talk about in week 9, but we only got a few minutes here, so I'm going to get right to it. Number one, the Colts come back crashing back down to earth. And this was by far the worst game they've played all season. And there were a couple things that really bugged me about this game. Forget Daniel Jones' 5 turnovers. This was the worst game by far he's played. He reverted back to the New York Giants way of doing things with 5 turnovers. But some of the play calling I found really strange. And there were whole series when they were still in the game where they would go 3 and out and Jonathan Taylor would not touch the ball at all. And that was bugging the hell out of me. And they had one time where they threw a pass on first down for 9 yards. And then they threw 2 more incompletions on second and third down, and Jonathan Taylor never got a touch on the series. And it was really frustrating to watch. I don't know why they really were not feeding him the ball. I don't know if they didn't feel like they could run it against the Steelers front. But that was a horrible game by the Colts today. Daniel Jones was absolutely terrible. Jonathan Taylor did very little, and this Steelers defense finally showed up. If you look at this game, TJ Watt completely wrecked this game. He had a strip sack early on. He forced another fumble or later on, and he was all over the place. And if their defense plays like that, Aaron Rodgers is not doing a lot, but he's not making a lot of mistakes, they're going to win a lot of games. And I thought the Ravens were going to catch the Steelers pretty easily. They still have 2 games coming up in the second half of the season versus each other. But if the Steelers play like this, I think they can hold on and win the division. Number 2, the Packers lose at home today versus the Panthers. And they have way too many good players to play this poorly. I don't know what is going on with the Packers right now. When they traded for Micah Parsons, I said that I thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl, and they've had a lot of games that are just really strange to me. And today, this was not only a bad loss, they lost one of their best offensive players for the season in Tucker Kraft, but I don't know what's going on. They gave up 163 yards rushing. There's no way that defensive front should give up 163 yards rushing. Jordan Love threw 1 pick. He should have had a second. The Panthers dropped one of the easiest picks I've ever seen in my life. And I don't know what's going on with this team. They fall to 5-2-1, and right now the Panthers have the same number of wins as they do. And I don't know what's going on with this team, but they got to get it figured out because they are way too talented to lose these games. Now they lose the Panthers at home. They lost the Browns earlier this season, and these are teams that they should be blowing out, and they got to figure this out. Number 3. The Broncos versus Texans. I think this was a matchup of the 2 best defenses in the NFL. This game was almost hard to watch because at times it felt like every time I looked down, one of the teams was punting. It felt like there were 40 punts in this game. And when I looked at this game today, it was 15-7 when C.J. Stroud went out. The Texans were winning 15-7. And when they brought in Davis Mills, it was pretty obvious from when the time Davis Mills came in that he was not going to be able to score on that Broncos defense. And at that point, it was just a matter on if the Broncos could get to 15 points, and they did. But both of these defenses are very good. The Broncos are now sitting at 7-2, atop of the AFC. And from the Texans, they're in real trouble. They're now 3-5, and they have the Jags and Titans coming up. So 2 very winnable games. But after that, they have the Bills, at the Colts, at the Chiefs. And they've got to win a lot of those games or else they're not going to be in the playoffs. And I bet there would be a lot of AFC teams breathing a sigh of relief to not have to face that defense. And number 4, outstanding game by the Bills today. The Bills beat the Chiefs in Buffalo, like we said we thought would happen here earlier this week. But I thought this game really came down to 2 things. Number 1, the Bills really controlled this game. They had 141 yards rushing compared to 79 by the Chiefs. And it felt like they were getting 4, 5, 6 yards on first down every single time. And one of the things you notice, the Chiefs only had 79 yards rushing. The Bills' defense is very poor at verse rushing. And when you look at the Chiefs, that is really not their strength. I think this is a terrible matchup for the Chiefs because where the Bills are weak, the Chiefs really cannot take advantage because they're not a very good running team. The second thing, if you look at today, Mahomes was sacked 3 times and he was hit 15 times. That is way too many times for Mahomes to get hit for any team to really win a game. And he got absolutely hammered a few times. And one of the things that I thought Buffalo did a tremendous job of today was there were no rushing lanes for Mahomes at all. It seemed like they would get pressure and there was nowhere for him to go. They filled the rushing lanes really well. He really had, I think he only had one rush in the entire game, which is probably a season low for him. And I thought they just did a tremendous game, and I would not be surprised if these two teams play again. But with the win today, it's almost a guarantee that that game would take place at Buffalo. So that's what I saw in Week 9. I went 3-2 on my picks. I should have been 4-1 if the Bengals just did not go completely incompetent, giving up a 54-yard touchdown with 24 seconds left. All they had to do was make a tackle, give up the game-winning field goal, and lose by 2 for me to go 4-1. But they give up the touchdown, and I'm 3-2 on the week, which brings me to 16-17 on the year. So we'll talk to everyone later this week.